And action. So what inspired me to get into film? So there's no real one movie in particular that was like the movie I seen and it was like, oh yes, I have to just start doing movies now. I mean, there are so many movies across just the span of all the movies that I love that I can credit to inspiring me to get into film. But what really did it, and I say continues to do it for me, is that I feel like the film industry as a whole has fallen off, honestly. Like, comparing it to the TV industry, like television, I feel like is just doing amazingly, but I feel like the quality of movies that comes out of Hollywood today just isn't as great as it used to be, say like back to 80 films, for example, like 80s, early 90 films. That's like my golden era of movies for me. But right now I'd say we're just stuck in a cycle of recycling old films that were the great films over and over and over again. And I know that there's only technically 100 original ideas, but I feel like Hollywood can come up with a lot better than just recycling like they've been doing. It's not my forte. I got original ideas here ready. So why do I love film? So for me, it's two reasons why I love film. So I'm a very creative person. Like, you can give me a couple sticks, a rock, some sand. I'm going to find my way to draw some type of picture or write some type of story in the sand. And with just those items, I'm going to figure out how to entertain myself. Doesn't matter what the situation is. You give me enough tools and I have nothing else to do, I will get creative and I will put something together to definitely keep myself entertained. And I love the idea of being able to take those skills with a much bigger playground and let my creativity entertain the masses. Like, I just love the idea of that. The other reason being that when it comes to film itself, I love that when you go to see a movie, whether it's in the theater or it's at your house, during that moment when you're focused in and you're watching that film, you're escaping from all reality. So whatever you have going on in your life, whatever stresses you have going on, it just it just steps you outside of that for just one moment, and you're able to just focus in on what it is you're watching. And for me, growing up, and even still to this day, when I have stuff going on in my life, or just when I'm not stressing, when I just want to have fun and I just want something to really just entertain me, even when life's going amazing, movies always great because it always can just either put me into or take me out of whatever mindset or state of reality that I'm currently in. And I love that, and I want to be able to give that same feeling to others worldwide. So my favorite classes to learn would definitely top three have to be directing, editing, and screenwriting. Directing definitely hands down the top one. Then I have to say following that with screenwriting, just learning how to format my thoughts and actually being able to put those creative words and creative writing into a format that actually makes sense, and I'm actually able to direct to others and they can actually see what it is that I'm actually trying to put together. I love the concept of that. Whenever I get into that film industry after school, I want to become a director. That's one of the main things, writing and directing. So the directing course and just learning everything that goes into the whole overall concept of being a director and having to really know what goes on in each section and having to really trust your department heads at each of those sections to do their job the way they're supposed to based on how you're directing. Like, I just loved everything about that. I feel like lots of skills and some of my past experience that I've been through in the military and having to manage so many different projects and having to manage individuals, I feel like those skills are definitely going to come into play heavily when I do start directing projects after school, and I'm really excited about that. When it came to editing, what I liked about the editing was just when you get all of these clips all the shots, all the audio, when you just get everything together and you just have all this in front of you and you can just chop it up, piece it together however you see fit, and there's so many different combinations to the way that you can do it, and you can come up with an amazing story so many different ways. I just love that element of it. Like, if I wasn't editing my own project, for example, as a director, like, I think it's just really cool, and sometimes could be a downfall, and I can see why there's fights between directors and editors sometimes, but I think it's cool though that me being director, I can give my stuff to an editor, let them know how I want it, but what they may give me may be, I won't say completely different from how I want it, but maybe not exactly the way I would have did it. And I just like that. Like, there's flexibility in editing. And there will be some projects that I do want to just edit myself. Like, say someone else directs it and I'm the editor, and I would like to see that dynamic as well when I come into it. Some other courses that I won't say I really liked or disliked, but they were useful, was the color grading correction. Like, I loved how with the how you can really set the mood with that. Like, you can go really cold and really cool with the colors, and you can just make the vibe real just cold and just real cryptic. Or you can do the opposite spectrum where you just go really warm and now it's hot, and maybe you got that Mexico vibe, or maybe you add some warmth in the brightness and the colors in the background, and now that just gives a real happy vibe. And I like how it's not just the words or the directing per se that can change and alter how the viewer sees the story, but it's also in how having the colors, having certain sounds in the audio. Like, I like how, same thing with the colors, when you do with audio, you can make something real creepy or real funny or real exciting just based on the audio that you use. And really, I loved all the courses. There was one course absolutely hated: special effects. The worst. I never want to do that again. I will pay someone to do that, and that's about where I'm going to leave that with that. But all the other classes, 100%, I loved them. They were fantastic. What type of films do I see myself making? So, I got these characters tatted on me. So I was looking at it for a second. So I have Michael, Jason, Freddy Krueger, and Chucky tatted right there on my leg. So that'll just give you an idea off the rip what it is I like. So I love horror movies. Now, I'm not the type that would want to do, like, a trilogy of slashers. Like, you see, like, there's a million Jasons, Freddy Krueger movies. Michael is still trying to get his sister, and I don't know if he ever will get her. But that's not primarily where I'm trying to go with the horror. So, like, I'm trying to do more psychological horror thrillers where you're tapping into the human psyche, and, like, the fears that I want to put into my films will involve everyday aspects of life. So, let's say in today's world full of technology, we rely on all these smart items. So, let's say you have a smart home, and that smart home has been turned and used against you through someone hacking your system, and now your home, in a sense, is keeping you not only a prisoner, but now someone's able to spy on you. So that, for example, you get real psychological with that type of stuff. People that have those systems are going to leave their house wanting to get rid of those systems, or second guessing if they're as safe as they feel with that, for example. Or dabbing into the side of psychologically, like, mental health side, like tapping into human nature and really the real messed up things humans can do, because there are plenty of examples out there. You don't even really have to you don't even have to use too much imagination. You just have to look up real life stories, and that can be the inspiration behind the thrillers that I plan on making. But even though that's where I want to go with my type of horror angle, I do have aspirations to make one slasher character, such as the four that I named earlier. I want to do it in a way that's never been seen before, so I'm going to keep that hush, but I do have aspirations for sure to make, out of all, after I do all my psychological stuff, I just have the one slasher I want to do. Even if it's outside the realm of what people see that I make, it may be really random to whatever fan base I have at that time, but I will do that. Just throw it out there.